Yani sigo sawa sasa. When they start.
Hello, good evening from Kenya. I am Debra Chebet, an occupational therapist. I am currently a school-based occupational therapist. It's my pleasure today to be the coordinator of this meeting. Today we are going to discuss more of occupational therapy, school-based outline. Today it's more of discussion, it's an open discussion. I have very few slides, but more of it I have on my brain. We can discuss more about what happens within a school setup. So as I've told you, I'm Debra Chebet, an occupational therapist. I studied in Kenya Medical Training College based in Kenya, and I've been practicing all along in various schools within Kenya. Schools here in Kenya, we call them schools with special needs, where we find our kids with different abilities. And today, an occupational therapist is in a school setup, guiding them and helping them to be independent as much as possible. Because the main agenda for an occupational therapist to be based in school is to ensure that the learning of a child is not interrupted by how they were born, and they are able to perform the activities as much as they can with the abilities they can, and be able to perform the activities with the end results of being independent. So here an occupational therapist is here to help and guide using different techniques to enable them to be able to learn and perform each and every activities that he or she is required to perform within the school context. We also assess the school context to be able to favor them, move around, especially those who use special aids or the assistive devices. We help them assist, we assess the environment where they learn, the kind of the sitting where they sit, the terrains of the school compound, and also the activities they are using in class, like the pencil grip. So that is one of the roles of the activities. So I will be going through the short slides that have made here. This will guide us on the point forms of some of the activities that an occupational therapist engage on these children within the school setup. Our schools, we take children who have different abilities and who have different challenges. One of those challenges are like the autism children. We have the cerebral palsy children. We have those who have learning difficulties. We have the Down syndrome and any other physical disability children. We have them in our schools, because these children are unable to learn in the normal setup because of the limitation of the environment, the limitation of the cognitive, the limitation of their physical abilities. So on my slides, the heading was Occupational Therapy School-Based Outline. And I will take you through shortly. Okay. Occupational therapy school-based, a little bit, I can't scroll. Okay, the first area is sensory integration. This is one of my favorite areas of practice. Sensory integration is very, very wide area. And this is one of the best areas I practice most and where I find most where my strengths are. Sensory integrations means that the process by which the brain recognize, respond to the information of our senses provided. I know most of my listeners today understands only about very few senses of the body. This is more of the senses of the body. How are they communicating from the brain and the outcome from the body parts of our body? So the senses that we know usually are the eyes. Eyes are for seeing, ears are for hearing, our skin is for touching, but we have more senses that when our senses are overstimulated or understimulated, it brings an issue in the sensory integration. And this, you will find most of our children are unable to settle down. They're unable to calm down. They are throwing tantrums. They are having a lot of meltdowns. They are engaging in negative behaviors that we found that these behaviors are not the behaviors we are expecting them to have. So today I'm going to take you through the sensory integration, and I hope we are going to learn that we have more than 5 senses in our bodies. And when these senses are not okay, they are not in the correct state that can control our bodies, we will have a sensory overload. These children will have a sensory overload, and they will display the sensory overload in different ways. So for example, today we are going to discuss one of the sensory integration, that is proprioceptive sense. This means body position when walking. What is proprioceptive sense? It is the body position when walking, or how the position of my body when I am on a different level, when I am walking, when I am jumping. So you will find most of our children are unable to balance in different positions where they are, and this then give them a challenge in the sensory integration. So you will find most of the children are unable to climb on the stairs. They are unable to be on the swings, or some are feeling like I should be on the swing more than the time I am allocated. Some of them even have challenge using the merry-go-round because it is moving round and round. So, and some feel like I want more of this. That means one child is seeking and another child is trying to avoid. So an occupational comes in to make the proprioceptive sense to be settled and be neutral, and is able to stay in position. The body position will be okay. And then now we go to vestibular sense. Vestibular sense is the balance and awareness on space. How am I balancing when my feet leave the ground? Most of these children who are on spectrum, and also some of who have the Down syndrome, may find a challenge in balancing and being aware of their space. How are they balancing? How am I moving from one ground to another? How am I going to climb these stairs? How am I going to perform when I am swinging? How am I going to perform when I am on the merry-go-round? So most of this vestibular sense is very wide. Vestibular and proprioceptives go hand in hand because this is more of gravitational insecurity and the position of my body when I am on a different space and different level of the ground. So when these senses have challenges, you will find them having difficulty to perform even activities of their gross motor. The gross motor is the use of our bigger muscles. So when they have challenges on this proprioceptive sense, and vestibular sense, you will find most of them avoid even using the stairs when they are climbing to go to their houses, or when they are in a bigger space, maybe in a playground, they are unable to swing. When they are in outdoor activities with their parents, maybe you have gone for a mall and there are some of these merry-go-rounds, they are unable to join those who are playing there, or they feel like staying there for longer time of period because they get that sensory input. The next thing I'm going to speak about is the tactile stimulation. This is the sense of touch, body regulation of different sense of touch, smooth and rough. Our body reacts different to the texture of each and everything that we handle each and every day. This does not only apply on our hands, but it also applies on the general body, so long as we feel that sense, the sense of touch. It also can happen on our mouth, because you find most of the children, tactile and oral, that is gustatory, they have issues because they are unable to feed on the hard food. They want blended food. They are avoiding more of this hard food, or some want this crunchy food like crepes, chips, carrots, and some of them are avoiding. They want just smoothies and blended food. So tactile stimulation and some of the tactile issues go hand in hand. The tactile issues also, you will find some of the children, they love wearing socks, and some avoid even wearing the socks and the shoes. They will avoid completely. And some of them, you will find these children will want to walk barefoot, and meaning they are seeking sensory input which is lacking, or it is understimulated. And some of them are avoiding because they are overstimulated. So that is more of the tactile. And then there are some of them that I did not capture. We have the oral one, and we have the auditory. You will find most of the children, when they are in different environments, they are affected by the sounds, they are affected by the noise. They cannot work with the noise in the background. And some of them are seeking that noise. They enjoy the music, they enjoy the light music. You might go to their rooms, hop in, and announce in their room, and you will find them enjoying very loud music that you will find as a parent or as a teacher or as their therapist, very irritating sound. And then you will find, on the other hand, those who are under stimulated, they are really seeking that sound. They want to hear that sound. And those who are overstimulated, they are trying to avoid the sound. You will find them covering their ears or running away from the sound, or they can show their irritation by either crying or touching your hand and taking you like, let's go out or let us rush outside. And then another slide that I did not capture here is the oral. That is one of the major issues in the sensory integration. You will find most of our children, they are having issues with their oral stimulation, oral sense, the sense of chewing, tasting, biting. That is all about the oral, the gustatory and the olfactory. All of them happens within the mouth. That is the process of starting from biting, chewing, and swallowing. So you find most of these children, some who are understimulated, they are trying to bite. You will find them when they are so much angered, they will bite you, or when they find anything on the table, the model clay or the Play-Doh. In Kenya, we call them model clay, plasticine, Play-Doh, or anything that they found, even the crayons when they are engaging on the writing skills, the pencil, the pens. You will find them, they are trying to put them, everything they are trying to taste. You will find them, some of them, when they are playing outside, when we are having the sand play, because sand play is one of the tactile input. They will want to taste that sand. How is this sand tasting? So these children, you will find them, some are overstimulated and some understimulated. So all these senses might be displayed in one child, while some of the senses you will find, some have proprioceptive, vestibular, and tactile, and they don't have issues with oral. So when they come to us occupational therapists, when they are admitted in school setup, they come to occupational therapy department, and from there we start doing the assessment, because you cannot give a treatment without an assessment, without identifying where the problem is. After you have found that there is a problem on proprioceptive, that is where you will come out with a model and the ways of dealing with proprioceptive over hyperstimulation or hypostimulation. When you find a problem on the vestibular, that is where you will make a treatment plan and share to the parents. That treatment plan is helping you to understand that this child needs this and this. They need input on their proprioceptive. They need input on their vestibular and tactile stimulation, on their oral. You will find us most of the time, we request the parents to get us the electric toothbrush, because on those vibrations, they get the oral stimulation of the muscles and they get that input. That's why you will find them avoiding those negative behaviors like trying to test it and everything. Also, for those children who have problems with needing, they are biting, they want to taste everything, we mostly advise them to take the hard food, because when they chew it, hard food takes time in chewing. You have to chew for some duration of time, or you have to get some endurance when you are chewing those carrots, maybe apples. So as you chew them, you get satisfied. It's like a satisfaction. I want to get satisfied, to satisfy my sensation in the mouth. So we advise them to get those hard food. And then I am done with the sensory integration. So these are I'm just touching on the areas we deal with. Then another area that an occupational therapist come in when we are still in a school setup is the motor skills. Motor skills, we have the gross motor input and the fine motor skills. The gross motor input, this is where measures on the large muscles and joints, which necessitates movement. It necessitates what we call motion in each and every day, because we engage on different activities in school. I am supposed to sit, I'm supposed to squat maybe when I'm using the washroom, I'm supposed to jump when I'm doing my outdoor activities. When I am doing my brain gym, when I'm engaging on my sensory integration, I use my gross motor when engaging on all of these activities. So gross motor is one of the biggest areas we engage in. You will find most of our children, sometimes they are limited on engaging on these activities. Some are unable to walk because they have cerebral palsy. Maybe they got cerebral palsy during birth or after birth, they have cerebral palsy. Some are unable to jump because of the sensory integration under stimulation or overstimulation. Some are unable to do the squatting. Some are unable to do all these activities. So we engage them on these gross motor activities. This will enable them to perform each and every activities. Some of these activities will help us when also engaging on activities of daily living, which is the core thing of an occupational therapist. Like when I'm walking, I'm supposed to walk from the classroom to the washroom, go perform the activities of toileting accordingly. So if I am having a challenge in gross motor input, I will be unable to even perform the ADL part. So we engage them. We assess the joint range of motion, the muscle endurance, the motion, how the duration I'm supposed to do an activity. So that is more of gross motor input. And then we go to the fine motor skill. This is one of my favorite plays. I really love fine motor skills. I don't know why. So fine motor skill is all about our small muscles. These small muscles, it starts from my shoulders all the way to the phalanges, to my fingers. That is called phalanges. Phalanges, interphalangeal, all of those are fine motor skills. This deals with majorly small muscles and joints and prehensile patterns. We have different muscles in our hands. We have different joints, and we have the bigger area we call prehensile patterns. Prehensile patterns are the ones that help us do our activities with the hands. When I want to write, how am I supposed to hold my pencil? And that is where prehensile patterns come. When you hear me, a therapist telling you, I want to train at the end of this term or at the end of this duration of 2 weeks, I want this child to be able to have tripod. Tripod is the correct prehensile pattern for holding the pencil, for holding the crayon, for holding the pencil color, for you to engage on the pre-writing skills. If I'm unable to do those things, an occupational therapist come in. When I want to pick something very tiny pin from the ground, I have to use tip to tip, where I use my index finger and my thumb and pick something from the ground. When I want to open a lid, I use my palma opening a lid. So all my hands have different kinds of prehensile patterns. And most of our children, especially the early years, no matter those who are on spectrum, who have different abilities, and the normal children who doesn't have any disadvantage, most of our children, when they are joining the early learning school, you will find them holding the pen like this. This is called palmar grasp. And it is not wrong to start like this, but we train them. They start with palma, most display this palma, and then occupational therapists guide you to learn to use the tripod, which is the correct prehensile pattern when you are writing. And most you will find when we are helping them and training them to learn this prehensile pattern, we'll find most of the children may have limitation in their muscles. They have weak muscles. They cannot endure an activity, maybe writing for longer time. So we intervene by giving more of the activities, like we give them Play-Doh to try pinch and model to different shapes and patterns. We give them scissors. It strengthens the muscles for them to be able to strengthen fast the muscles and the joints to move. We do the joint range of motion using different activities like the brain gym, the yoga, the brain gym and the yoga help us on different ways of moving our hands, moving our fingers. This will help us move the joints to be very flexible and also attain the strong muscle endurance and the strong muscles to be able to hold that pen. So those are the part of the prehensile patterns we are trying to train our children who have different limitations. Also, when you are doing the buttoning, the zipping, the shoelacing, we still use our hands. When I want to throw a ball to you, when we are playing the throw game ball, we also use our hands, and that is called ball grabs. Ball grabs prehensile pattern. You will find most of these children are unable to do that because they don't have what we call high hand coordination. They cannot coordinate where my hand in at the same time where my hand is supposed to throw the ball. So that is the part of the fine motor skills we are training them. We will assess the ability of the child in terms of the muscle strength, motion, joint range of motion, and endurance, because some of our children might be having spasticity due to type of the cerebral palsy they are having. Maybe the whole of their body must be spastic. So we have to engage them on daily basis of engaging on joint range of motion, and also taxes that help them to strengthen the muscle. And also an activity, we grade an activity according to time. Today you will do an activity for 5 minutes, tomorrow 10 minutes. We increase the activity, and also complex, from simple to complex. We complex the tasks to achieve these fine motor skills. These fine motor skills will aid us now to pre-writing abilities, in-hand manipulation of different activities. Like here, I have my concentration. This is what we call concentration board. So this concentration board have very tiny pegs, and these pegs are very hard to remove them and return them back for some children. So this is one of the activities that we give them. for them to train on the muscle strength and also the endurance, because you will find some will just remove maybe some few pieces, like 5 pieces, 2 pieces, 10 pieces, and they are done. So on the next day or on the next session of the activity, you encourage them to remove more and more of the activities. We have also the pegs, the normal pegs. This is the pegs that we, here in Kenya, we use them to hang the clothes outside. I don't know about the other countries. This is the pegs. We modify each and every activity that is within our reach. So these pegs, you see, the sense of using these pegs is to strengthen the fine motor muscles, the muscles, you see. So they press the pegs, arrange them like this. They arrange them on a chin or on a surface. They have to press. They have to press because it's a little bit hard. It's very, very hard. And some are very easy. It's not hard. So you see, they will press them at the same time, press them, they put in, at the same time, they unplug. They plug in and they are plugged. With time, the strength of the hand is increasing and increasing. And then at the end of it all, we will grade that the child is able now to perform other activities using the fine motor skills. We go to the next slide. On the fine motor skill, one thing that I've not touched, beading. We use a lot of beadworks. We have beads in our department that we use. We have the coloring activities. Coloring, I will still land on them on the writing skills. And we have the scissor skills. Scissors, we use a lot of scissors. We use scissor as one of the therapeutic activities when we are training the fine motor skills. The scissor, we give them to learn and to strengthen the fine motor skills. And the next thing that an occupational therapist helps a child in a school setup is the cognitive abilities. Without cognitive abilities, I'm not able even to solve my fine motor activities on my sensory issues. On the cognitive abilities, it entails fixing of puzzles, problem solving, judgment, identification of items, different colors, different size of the objects, maybe the square, the rectangle, the triangle. So an occupational therapist uses different kinds of therapeutic activities to solve the issues of cognitive ability. Sometimes we produce a structured picture for you to color, maybe a picture of a bus. Already the picture has a shade up. We have a picture up and a picture that has not been colored down. The picture of the bus upward, the wheels have been colored black and the windows are blue. The body of the bus might be yellow. The windscreen or the steering might be blue. So you have to study the picture. You study the picture, then we cover the picture, and then we ask you to try and retrieve the information that you have studied. This picture, the wheels were black, the body was yellow, the windows were black, the windows were blue. So I'm supposed to color. Yes. Yes, hello. Yes, Han, I can hear you. Please mute. Yes. So this is more of the cognitive abilities that we engage them. We want them to be able to solve a problem when they find a problem. Like, I take your shoes and keep it somewhere. Are you able to retrieve or to understand this is my shoe, or these shoes belong to the right hand, to the left leg, and to the right leg? So those are the kind of cognitive abilities we are trying to engage them while they are in school. Some of the activities that we use to stimulate their cognitive activities, we have the puzzle, different kinds of puzzle for different ages, because we have 8 to 12, 12 to 16 pieces of the puzzles. We have even up to 100 pieces, up to 200 pieces. So depending with your abilities, we engage you. And all of our activities are one-on-one. The therapist and the child one-on-one engagement when we are doing the activity. So we do one-on-one, then we give you a chance to work on it alone. That is where we'll come back and create that you are able to perform the activity. Then the next area is the brain gym. This brain gym usually happens very early in the morning. Every morning, you have to refresh your mind. Like I know in some parts of India or some parts I've been interacting with them, they do a lot of yoga, and this helps to stimulate our brain and be able to engage on daily activities. So for most of our children in the morning when we come, we engage on the brain gym before we engage on the rest of the activities that an occupational therapist has set. We have the midline exercises, identification of the body parts, cross crawls, wheelbarrow walks, animal walks. So these activities happens, we use our bodies, the hands, the legs, all parts of our bodies are engaged on brain gym. This will stimulate our brain and refresh our brain, and our brains will be ready to engage on the rest of the day's activity. And then the next wide area of an occupational therapist, that is why we are called occupational therapists, are the ADLs training. We have the basic ADLs and we have the instrumental ADLs. The basic activities of the daily living is when I wake up in the morning as my child, what am I supposed to do? When I wake up in the morning, I'm supposed to brush my teeth. I'm supposed to wash my face. I'm supposed to spread my bed, to shower, do toileting, to eat my breakfast independently, feeding. That is part of the basic activities of the daily living. These activities does not only happen at home. It happens in everyday life. Even when they come back to school, these activities happens in school because during break times, we have to eat our snacks. After some short breaks, I'm supposed to go to the toilet and use the toilet. Every activity of these basic activities is, we done what is called task analysis. We break down, like if I am feeding, for every child, I've been given a meal to eat. And this meal maybe contains, I am supposed to take a cup of tea and a piece of mandazi or a piece of a sausage. But especially for those children who are on spectrum, kindly let's observe the diet that works for them to avoid the hyperactivity, please. So I'm giving just an example, like I am supposed to take a cup of porridge, non-sugarless cup of porridge and a piece of sausage. So when a child, it is break time, they know it is break time, we serve them with these snacks for break time. And now, as an occupational therapist, I move around and assess every child's ability of feeding, because you will find most of the children have challenge on the table manners, they have challenge on chewing, biting, even transferring the cup from the table to my mouth, biting, chewing, and swallowing. So this activity is graded and it is analyzed accordingly. Another example I'm going to give you is the toileting. Everyone must go to the toilet. These children must go to the toilet and perform the activity of toileting. Toileting is not just going inside to the toilet and sit there and finish the activity that I was supposed to do there. An occupational therapist, we use a lot of visual, that is visual. And despite some having the visual issues of sensories, we like communicating a lot using visual. And then we use our oral one-on-one communication and instruction when we are the ADLs. Now for the toileting, we print a picture for them that when I'm going to the toilet, I request for the permission for those who are unable to communicate. Maybe they are and they don't have speech. Kindly someone to mute. Mr. Black, please mute, please. So for some children, they are unable to communicate, but they use the sign language. You will find them maybe doing like this, I want to go to the toilet. So most of these children, if they have not trained the toilet, some come to school when one of the goals is toilet training. So when they come, they communicate, I want to go to the toilet, or we give them sensory break, mostly after every 20 minutes. We ask them to go to the toilet and we accompany them, because some are unable even to pull down the pants and perform the toileting. Some are unable to wipe, they don't know that after I have done the toileting, I'm supposed to wipe and flush the toilet. So you see these challenges needs an occupational therapy. So when we are doing the toileting, your child, one of the activities is my child is supposed to know I request to go to the toilet, or I just rush maybe when I'm at home. I open the door of the toilet, I pull down my pants, pull down all the pants, not to the level of the feet, because you will find some of them remove all the clothes and they stay naked. They don't know that they are supposed to remove to the knee length and sit on the toilet seat, perform if it is a long call or a short call. For men, maybe they can stand. For ladies, for girl child, they sit when they are performing both long call and short call. After that, they are supposed to wipe. They understand that I am supposed to use the tissue or anything provided for wiping. For those who use they use the faucet, they can use that faucet for cleaning down there. And then after that, what am I supposed to do? I pull up my trouser to the waistline, I button or zip my trouser or my skirt, my pant, all my innerwears, I pull them accordingly. After I pull up, I am supposed to hold the knob of the flashing water incinerator. I am supposed to flush. I flush my toilet. After now, I flush my toilet and I check that everything I've run down. I'm supposed to maintain my hygiene by washing the hands. Some few years back, we were having COVID-19 and we were supposed to wash and sanitize our hands every other time. It is not only that time. Even when they visit the toilet, let them learn that after the toilet, I wash my hands, I wipe my hands, and then now I close the door and go back to my learning. I go back to the class. So that is one of the detailed activity of the daily living that I've break down and show you how an occupational therapist break down the activities and ensure the child is able to engage on each and every step of an activity. And mostly these activities, we break them down for these children to learn the routine that after I have finished eating, I'm supposed to tidy up or clear up the table and take my utensils to the correct place. It might be to the sink, to a certain table that has been assigned there for them to put the things, or to the kitchen. So those are the activities of the basic activities. Also on the basic, like the dressing and grooming, applying the oil on themselves, we have the shoelacing. That is one of the biggest challenges that have encountered as I practice along. Most of the children have challenge on shoelacing because of the patterns and how to make the bow tie after you have laced your shoes correctly. And that one takes some time when learning. And we use the real activity. We are guided by the model called Model of Human Occupation. This model of human occupation has directed us that we use the real picture of the activities, not a simulated activities. If I'm supposed to tie the shoelace, I am supposed to use the real shoes, my shoes that has the laces, to try and tie the patterns, different patterns, and make the bow tie at the end of it all. And also on these basic activities, we have the buttoning, because you will find most of our clothes have buttons, and we will not assume that we will just be wearing t-shirts all along, with our children who have the challenges will be putting on the t-shirts all along. No, so they have to learn the essence of buttoning, zipping, buckling. It depends on the kinds of the shoes they are wearing. We also have to learn the buckling of the belts, because we want them to be independent when they are dressing. So that is more of the activities of the daily living. Also the grooming, I'm supposed to comb my hair to look neat. I'm supposed to brush my teeth, the amount of Colgate I'm supposed to use, and how am I supposed to brush my upper and the lower jaws. And after brushing the upper and the lower jaws, I'm supposed to take some water and rinse my mouth and rinse my toothbrush and put it on the assigned place. So you see, these activities might look as very simple, but for us occupational therapists, these activities for some of the children, they are very complex to follow the routine. That is why we come up by task analyzing and task breaking down. This is breaking down of the activities to different levels and different routines for them to understand and learn and master the skill to excellence. And then another way, orientation to basic activities of daily living to pave way for instrumental activities. Instrumental now is very wide activities. Those are not the basic. Instrumental, I'm going out of what I've been doing from the basic. Basic is within me. Instrumental is now very wide. It has grown leaves and very wide and wide. Like when I am at home, we have some flowers outside there. I'm supposed to water the flowers. I'm supposed to understand shopping. I'm supposed to understand the value of the money. I'm supposed to understand that the doctor said I'm supposed to take my medication 1 times 2. What does that mean? All of these extra activities are grouped under instrumental activities. Because as they grow, when they are young, we will administer medication, ourselves as the parents. But as they grow, we will do like hospital visits together. And they should understand that I've gone to the hospital and the doctor has diagnosed me maybe with some stomach infection. I've been given this kind of medication and I am supposed to take them orally in the morning and in the evening. So as an occupational therapist, sometimes, yes, we look things that it might be very hard for them to understand, but we try as much as possible to engage them on these instrumental activities. It does not only happen within the school setup, it happens in different contexts. You might be traveling and you want to use the toilet, you want to excuse yourself. You might be in a school and you have been told, can you tidy up your activities? Or today it's a time for planting or it's a time for watering the plants. So those are some of the activities we engage them on. Also the value of money, shopping lists, cooking, all those vocational activities are grouped under instrumental activities, but the bigger word is called vocational. So you will find some of them learning to come up with ingredients and make up a recipe, and at the end of it all, use the recipe even to prepare a meal. So that is instrumental activities. And then the next slide, overall of occupational therapy in a school setup. We have the pre-writing skills training. I know I've touched some of it here on fine motor skills. My time is running out a little bit. Pre-writing skills entails coloring. These pre-writing skills are the activities that they will be engaged also in class, but an occupational therapy is helping them to come up and to learn and to master the skills so that by the time they are engaging with their teachers, at least they have mastered some skill. So entails coloring. This is the structured and unstructured images, tracing simple and complex pattern shapes, writing numbers, vowels, and alphabet, and handwriting training. So these activities happen in the therapy room. At the same time, it happens in the classroom. And then the last but not the least slide for me is the social skills training. Most of our children who are on spectrum, some on Down syndrome, they might have a challenge in interaction with one another, ability to interact with the peers within a context. This entails on turn taking, sharing, playing together, creating friendship, using courtesy words like please and sorry. So social skills just entails the making of friendship. How am I supposed to interact with the rest? I'm not supposed to stay alone. I'm supposed to make friendship maybe with my classmates in a classroom. When I'm being engaged on an activity, I'm supposed to understand that I should turn take. And then the last slide, before I give you a chance to ask some question, a little bit, the model used. Now, these are the treatment plans. This is what appear on the treatment plans after the assessment. This is what some of the models that guide occupational therapy. These are the evidence-based models that help us to manage and use on our treatment plan to achieve the goals and the objectives that has been set. One of them is the model of human occupation. Model of human occupation applies in all areas because the model of human occupation has guided us that we use the real activities to engage on an activity. And then we have the group therapy. Group therapy, this applies mostly when we are engaging on social skills, when we want our children to achieve the social skills so that they cannot be loner and they may, and also to achieve that they are able to use the courtesy word like please, excuse me, may I have, or please, I want to go to the toilet, because you will find some cannot communicate, or the behavioral, they are unable to even ask for a permission. So we put them in a group where we group them to different, according to age, different age group, abilities, and we engage them maybe in a storytelling. And when we ask them the question, then we give them a chance to answer. So you will find some want to answer more than the other one. When you find other one, the rest are unable to answer the question, they are just silent. So you will use a lot of prompts to control the crowd, like so and so is supposed to answer this moment at the same time the next person is supposed to answer. So you see here they will be able to interact. Also, we use different kinds of toys for them to play together and ask for the toy when they need it. Then we have play therapy. I think occupational therapy in school setup is all about play. You make every activity be playful for the child to enjoy and not to feel like it's something scary for them. So one of the models we use is play. You will find us, most of the occupational therapists in school are very bubbly, like me. I'm always smiling. You will rarely find me on a sad mood or my face frowning. I'm always smiling for them and playing with them, singing along with them, engaging them in one-on-one activities, despite maybe the complexity of the activities. We make them as play. And then we have physical therapy. This physical therapy always works on for us mostly when we have children who are on spectrum and they have challenges on their sensory integration part. And also these children who have cerebral palsy within our setup, we engage them on physical therapy because some have challenges in walking, sporting, jumping, running. So these physical activities influence the fine and the gross motor activities. Then on the sensory integration parts, we are guided by the IAS model of sensory integration. When you have time, you can read more on the IAS. They have guidelines for each and every intervention for every level of sensory integration that have broken down them, like the vestibular, the proprioceptive, use of the therapy balls, deep massage, use of the swing, log rolls. So all of those things are on the IAS model of the sensory integration. And what I also forgot about saying on the assessment of the sensory integration, we usually use the sensory profile. That is one of the standardized tools here in Kenya, where it's like a questionnaire we give a parent, and we also do one-on-one questionnaire with the parent. And we also do a lot of observation on our assessment of the sensory integration. And then we have rehabilitative model. This is where the assistive devices come, where you will find the wheelchairs, you will find the standing aids, the sitting aid, you will have the pencil gripper that helps hold the pencil nicely. So those are more of the rehabilitative models that help you to manipulate and move around within an environment. Then another model is neurodevelopmental model. It's called NBC. This most applies on children with cerebral palsy. This helps us on the manipulation of their muscles and the joint range of motions and the joints and the muscles. And then we have therapeutic activities. Therapeutic activities are like the ones I've shown you, the pegs here. We have the peg board, we have this block-shaped kind. We have the squeeze balls. We have the Play-Doh. We have the puzzles. We have different kinds of therapeutic activities that are there. So that is more of an occupational therapy view of a school. This was done by occupational therapist Debra Chebet. Thank you for your time, unless you have a question. Hello, you can unmute your. Hello. Any question? Anyone with a question, please? Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. I think I can complete my presentation if we don't have anyone with a question. In case you have a question, kindly reach me on debrachebet@gmail.com. That is my official email. On Facebook also, you can reach me on my page. You can tag along the Autism Connect page, and I'm sure I will be able to answer your questions. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Gentlemaiwa Botol. Thanks for your question. I can see you have written, how can we stop steaming? Most of our children with autism have steaming, yes. What has worked for us more is engaging them on the outdoor activities. One of the outdoor activities that we can engage them, first of all, is we have very many outdoor activities. When we engage our brain on a new activity, the child will be able to avoid the activity that they are used to. So one of those activities that they can do on the outdoor, if you have the outdoor swings, if you have the tires outside, you can engage them by pushing the tires, carrying the tires along, swinging on the swing. If there's a trampoline outside, you can engage them by jumping on the trampoline. You can give them also the fine motor activities to manipulate, like building blocks, so that their hands, their gross motor part is engaged. Because once they are idle, you will find them engaging on those steaming, rocking on the chairs. You have to ensure each and every time they are engaged on a goal-directed activities, so that they will be able to alleviate from those kind of behaviors like steaming. Hope your question is answered. You can also modify any activity within the home, because all the activities within the home are goal directed and they are good, so long as you consider and check out for any accident or harm. You take caution on them, engage on many outdoor activities and indoor activities to cater for fine motor activities. Any other question? No? Any other question? Okay, no more questions. Thank you for your time. Hope to see you soon again. Have a nice evening from Kenya, a good morning from wherever you are, a good afternoon from wherever you are. It's been a pleasure taking you through an occupational therapy video in a school. Thank you. I'm ending my life. Bye-bye and see you again.